That concerns me, Dalvin Cook's injury, because I'm heading into the fantasy playoffs in all three of my leagues, and I could really use some Dalvin Cook. He's been a large part of my fantasy team. Josh, our Lions superfan, writes in, we don't have a Vikings superfan, so I'll cover both sides on this one. On offense, the return of Adam Thielen will be huge for Minnesota and for PodVader's fantasy football team, especially if they're without Dalvin Cook. My favorite rookie running back sleeper, Alex Madison, should be able to pick up the slack if he sits. For the Lions offense, it's officially Blau season. Our 2020 second-string quarterback will lead the charge in a tough spot on the road versus a tough D. Marvin Jones owns the Vikings, so he's your guy at wide receiver this week. Ooh, I like that for DFS. I'll remember that. Check mark. On defense, the Vikings will skull all over the place. I think it's a wake-up call for Blau, and he gets dumped 4 or 5 times in this game. It'll be a struggle for Detroit. They probably start strong, fade shortly after. They stop Captain Kirk on the opening drive, take a 3-0 lead just so that we can say we had a lead in every game in the season. But still, nothing to show for it. Detroit 20, Minnesota 31. That's only 11. So even the Detroit superfan says, give me 13 points and the Lions win. Anyway, Nick, I'm assuming you're taking the Vikings here too?
Yeah, I mean, it's possible that this is the game where Matt Patricia realizes that the pencil behind his ear can't write on the laminated play sheet in his hands, but I doubt it.
Yeah, I doubt it too. Washington Redskins 3-9. The Green Bay Packers are reverse 9-3. They are 7th in the power rankings. The Redskins are 29th. The Packers are favored by 13 in this particular game. Redskins did beat the Packers last year 31-17, but that was last year. We don't need to go in depth on this one. I, as is James, locking in the Green Bay Packers. Nick, before you say anything, Neil wrote in his preview, and I don't know if I can really read this, but I'm going to edit it the way that I think I can. Saying, sorry, missed that today was the podcast, even though I made sure to tell everyone we're recording earlier. This is a great kitty cat test for Green Bay. Lose to Washington, and this team remains in red alert super kitty cat mode. Beat Washington, and Green Bay will be in Amber Alert kitty cat mode. Slaughter Washington like good teams do to poor teams, and Green Bay moves into the stroking kitty cat mode. Washington is on a 2-game win streak where we beat actual kitty cats, Lions and Panthers, both with backup quarterbacks. Don't be fooled. We remain terrible. I'm surprised he didn't refer to his team as kitty cats. Washington 13, Green Bay 55.
I'm sorry.
I don't understand. Was there an innuendo in there?
Oh, my gosh.
Possibly.
I don't want to know. It's Neil. Anything is possible.
Possibly. Anyway, Nick, you didn't lock the Packers in. Is it just because you decided to lock in a previous game?
Yeah, I figured I would have settled on one lock. But I will note that Neil did say in response to Ron Rivera's firing that for losing to his team last week, that Ron Rivera actually should have been executed at dawn. So that's kind of the level of inspiration he has in his team right now.
Wow.
I don't think we don't need a Washington Redskins injury report, just who's on the Packers injury report.
Will Redmond and Tony Brown, safety and cornerback respectively, show up on the injury report. Quick hit on last year's game, no Aaron Rodgers, I believe.
Oh, well, maybe that will change things. Better, because we've all gone in super confident on this game, and we're moving on to the Indianapolis Colts, who are 6-6. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers are 5-7. The Colts are 15th in our power rankings. The Bucs are 21st. The Bucs favored by 3 points in this particular game. Jacoby Brissett did his Jameis Winston impersonation last week, completing 62% of his passes for 319 yards with a touchdown and 2 interceptions. Listen, Jacoby, let Jameis do Jameis, and it will all take care of itself in the end. I will take the Colts.
They were playing the Titans, who have a pretty good defense.
I'm just saying, Jacoby, no need to be doing your Jameis Winston impersonation. Just let Jameis be Jameis, and you'll be all set. Yep. I'm taking the Colts. James, you have been Jameis's biggest defender, but you are also taking the Colts.
Yeah, I feel like the Colts bounced back, and last week's game, Jameis didn't do anything to lose it. The defense pretty much won it early and ran away with it late. T.Y. Hilton, Marlon Mack should both show up as questionable on the injury report for the Colts. For the Buccaneers, linebacker Anthony Nelson and cornerback MJ Stewart are the big names right now. But I feel like Jameis is going to Jameis this game because, like I said, he didn't have any touchdown passes. He also didn't have any interceptions last week. He did fumble. He didn't lose it. I think he turns the ball over a couple of times this week. I don't want to say that. I don't want to speak it into existence because he's been up and down this season, more down than up. But he's had his moments. And I think another year in the system, he'll turn – I don't want to say turn the corner, but he'll look like the quarterback everyone thought he would be. That's if he gets another year.
Well, Nick is believing that Jameis is not going to Jameis it, and he's taking the Bucs.
Cool.
Yeah, in some ways, it's just a little bit of lack of faith in Indianapolis. They kind of remind me of the Alex Smith Chiefs in a way, but with even maybe less firepower on both sides of the ball. I mean, it's not the worst insult in the world. It's just they're a very well-coached team that as long as they get the lead and can keep the game in front of them, they'll probably ride their way to a low-scoring victory, against, most average teams in the league. But as soon as Brissett makes a mistake, their formula has been destroyed, and they just have trouble getting back into games, it seems like. I don't know who scares you really on that defense. Meanwhile, the Bucs are really volatile. I don't think they're going anywhere this year, but, Shaq Barrett is having an amazing defensive year that nobody's talking about. All 8.5 fingers of Jason Pierre-Paul are working on a good pass rush on the other side. They actually have some ability to disrupt teams on defense. And meanwhile, Jameis is going to make his mistakes, but they have the weapons to actually really hurt you in the passing game quicker than the Colts can as well, especially now getting O.J. Howard back involved. I just think, again, the Bucs aren't going anywhere, but they're just good enough to beat the Indianapolis Colts at home.
Well, they very well could be. But I feel like this is also one of those games where you expect the Buccaneers to win, so that's when they lose.
They don't.
Right, exactly. The Miami Dolphins are 3-9. The New York Jets are 4-8. The Dolphins 28th in the power rankings. The Jets 27th. The Jets are favored by 5.5 points. Dolphins have won the past 4 versus the Jets, including the last meeting in Week 9, which I believe was Sam Darnold's post-Ghosts sighting. I would feel better about this pick if the Jets hadn't just lost to the Bengals. But I'm going to take the Jets at home. It's foolish, I know, but I don't feel confident about it. I just can't believe Miami really wants to screw up their draft pick. I mean, just because Tua is no longer the number one obvious quarterback, there are other quarterbacks that could still be the building blocks to the Miami Dolphins, and you're screwing it up, Miami.
Yeah, I got nothing to say about this game. I want to flip a coin and pick a team. Every time I mention the name of the team the Jets are playing this week, I throw up in my mouth a little bit. These are 2 teams going nowhere right now. And yes, one of them did just recently pretty much playground football their way to a victory over my Eagles, but I still don't have any confidence in either one of these teams. I don't even remember who I picked on the sheet pod, but yeah.
You picked the team that you said you throw up in your mouth. You picked the Dolphins.
Yeah, probably because the Jets look like a clown show, especially since they lost to the Bengals last week. Yeah, that's probably why. I probably picked them because the Jets lost to the Bengals, and I can't trust them.
Nick, how confident do you feel in the Dolphins?
Not super confident, but I feel confident in this game just because I would probably pick just about any team against the Dolphins on the road in Miami, whatever. But I mean, we saw the way that they just trounced the Jets last time, and I do think there's something personal, at least among whatever remaining Miami Dolphins players there are there, is that I think they do take pleasure in making Adam Gase look bad. And I think if there's something that you can rally around, in terms of a team in a tanking year with a new regime, it's let's go make Adam Gase look worse. So yeah, and look, I mean, the Jets just lost to the Bengals, as was already mentioned. I mean, how can you have any more faith in a team than that?
I thought a cardboard cutout of your owner that you slowly take pieces of clothing off of was what you use to motivate teams. No?
That only works.
I'm not claiming there's not like some cardboard cutout of Mr. Ross down there in the locker room.
Oh, bad.
That's Major League, by the way, if you didn't get the reference. Billie Eilish. San Francisco 49ers are 10-2. The New Orleans Saints are also 10-2. Another game of the week happening at the exact same time as the other game of the week. What's going on out there? The Saints are third. The 49ers fall to fourth. I kept them at third. Actually, I still have the Saints at 4, I think. So I didn't think losing to the Ravens deserved any sort of fall at all for the 49ers, especially losing to the Ravens on a last-second field goal.
I didn't drop them that much.
Saints are favored by 2.5 in this particular game. By the way, most career touchdown passes is currently held by Peyton Manning, 539. Entering week 14, Tom Brady has 535. Drew Brees has 532. And so both will most likely surpass Peyton Manning. I bring this up more here than with Tom Brady because while Brady might actually do it first, this record belongs to Drew Brees because Brady's not going to hold on to it. Brees will pass him very easily. And quite honestly, it's ultimately going to belong to Patrick Mahomes, who reached 70 career touchdown passes in his 27th career game, which beats Hall of Famer Dan Marino, who did it in 29 games. So, yeah. The record definitely won't be Jimmy Garoppolo's, but he's not as bad as James will lead you to believe.
I didn't say he was bad.
You keep saying Jimmy Garoppolo is a problem for the 49ers.
He's the only problem.
And again, he aims for his third in a row on the road and fourth in a row overall with 110+ rating. Jimmy Garoppolo is a good quarterback.
Hey,
I know there's
solid.
no place like Dome for the Saints, but the 49ers D is that good. And I am predicting a Monty special for my boyfriend.
Adam and Eve on a raft, a cup of muck, and an upset special.
Yep.
You would. I am not surprised by that. And I am not as down on Garoppolo as you think. I think that a lot of the hype that he got coming into the season was undeserved. He has not played up to it in any way, shape, or form. And he does have good, solid numbers this year. I mean, what is he now, like 22-10 touchdowns to interceptions?
Sounds about right.
Yeah, so, I mean, it's not a horrible season. It's also not, a season that you can – let's put it this way. It's a great season for him, but by what we deem elite quarterback stats, not even close. And that's the type of praise that was heaped upon him before the season started. So I always say pump your brakes and stuff like that. Now, that notwithstanding, yes, he is still the weak link of this team because do I believe in the Niners defense? Yes. Do I believe in the running game? Absolutely. As long as he's not turning the ball over or doing things to put them behind the chains or making errant throws or panicking when he sees pressure, they'll be fine. But he's still the weak link of this team. I trust every other phase of this team except him. But that doesn't mean he's bad. He's just, he's doing what he needs to do for this team to win games. And they're 10-2. So I take nothing away from his playing this year except for like the handful of games where he couldn't stop throwing interceptions.
Listen, according to ESPN's total QBR, Jimmy Garoppolo is 12th in terms of quarterbacks. Now,
that's good.
Now he would be below Kyler Murray, Kirk Cousins, Ryan Fitzpatrick, Carson Wentz, Matthew Stafford, I would take him ahead of all those guys, which leaves him behind Lamar Jackson, Patrick Mahomes, Dak Prescott, Russell Wilson, Deshaun Watson, and Drew Brees.